Hey, so real quick, so I'm writing a new message series on suffering. It's called Selected for Suffering, and I'm excited about it because it's a message that's kind of been like brewing and growing for about like 5 years, maybe four or 5 years. God started 4 or 5 years ago. God started to speak to me and show me this message, Selected for Suffering. I think so. I've waited all this time to deliver it and to start it, but there was a lot that had to happen. And now I understand that I I had to go through some some personal suffering in my life. I there I had to there was more that I had from the initial message that it developed into a more beautiful message, a more comprehensive, more full, impactful message. And I had to, if I would have delivered this message years ago when I first got it, it wouldn't have had the same impact that it's gonna have now that I've gone through some real hard stuff, real like real life stuff, real life suffering. So yeah, I'm a better man now to deliver the message. So yeah, the message had to develop, and I had to develop in this area. Basically, man, I want to give more I want to give a better perspective of suffering and how God sees it. This like all of the messages are good. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Follow me on all like social media. Son of David Messages. The channel is Son of David Messages on YouTube. So yeah, like subscribe and do all that so you can stay notified and see when I actually drop the messages. But yeah, I'm better for it, and this is my favorite. I think they're all good. They're all everything that God gives me is good. I wouldn't deliver it. I wouldn't record the message or deliver the message if it wasn't if it wasn't like some impactful, that I felt it was impactful, and that I felt was powerful. I wouldn't even I wouldn't touch it. I don't feel God gives me anything that's lightweight. A lot of the stuff He gives me are impactful to help people, to really help people. So yeah, this is my favorite, um partially because of what I've gone through, the suffering that I've gone through, and the things that God has shown me throughout these last few years, and that he's revealed to me on suffering. Like it's some of the this is some of the best lessons that I've learned in my life, that I've ever learned in my life. So yeah, and I think it'll help a lot of people, a ton of people. And yeah, so I'm excited about it. So I'm writing it now. I think I'll record it soon. I can't even I always try to give it a date, and then I never know. I think by the end of this month, this is October right now, so by the end of this month I would have it recorded. Right now I have two other messages recorded. So real quick context. What I've done is I knew I wanted to get to these. It's a series, this message series, Selected for Suffering. I knew I wanted to get to this by the end of the year, but I had to lay down some foundation messages, right? So because you can't just jump right into suffering. That's heavy. That's super heavy. So what God was giving me was to give some foundation messages that give us a better understanding of God in general, a better understanding of God, a better understanding of ourselves. So they're foundational messages. So basically, so I start with, and they all lead up to suffering. So real quick, I think back in, what was it, back in April, or actually probably March March, April time. I started recording the series. So it started with purpose, right? Purposeful. So it's a message on purpose. I went to gifts, and then I recorded back in June. Um, uh, I recorded Destiny. So the message on Destiny, right? I'm naming it uh, God's will versus our will, free will. God's will versus free will. So I went to that, and it's a message on Destiny. And then the fourth one is God I'm sorry, eternity versus time, right? So all of these messages are foundational, right? So purpose, gifts, they're all related. They don't sound like it, but they're all related, and they're all leading up to suffering, right? Purpose, gifts, destiny, and eternity and time. And what I'm doing is that's foundation, right? And by the end of this series, hopefully there's a like that you have a better understanding of God, and of like who he is, and how he his thoughts are so far from our thoughts, and his ways are so far from his ways, so we can better not to understand God, because like who can fit the eternal God in our brain? Like, well, that, I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to do is get us to have a better understanding and a better perspective of God and of ourselves. And this is the core thing, and this is what God was showing me, and I didn't even realize that it was coming out in my messages. The core theme is trust, right? Trust God, trust him. He knows what he's doing, and that's what I'm trying to get you to understand with these messages. And show you with the messages that he really knows what he's doing, right? So trust God, and that's what he was showing me too in my personal life. Trust me. So that was the foundation message, and now I can get to suffering, right? Now I can, because it's heavy, right? Suffering is a heavy message, and this one is heavy stuff. But I can set this heavy message, this weightiness on the foundation that we trust God, right? The foundation messages that I went through. So I'm gonna that's what I'm doing, is I'm gonna set this heavy stuff on the foundation, and now we have an understanding of God, and we trust him, and now we're better able, and we're more equipped to get into digging into the deep, right? Suffering, why we go through it. Why do good people suffer from bad things, right? I'm not answering those questions. I don't want to get into that. So I'm already giving you some stuff. I don't want to do that. But I paint a better picture to reframe that question, right? To have some understanding, and ask a better question than that, right? So yeah, man, it's good stuff. I'm writing it out now. I'll record the first one by the end of the month. I haven't uploaded the last two messages yet. The Destiny, God's will versus free will, and the eternity versus time. I haven't uploaded those yet. I will. The next month or so. I got to get around to paying for it. Paying my producer, director, all that. He's all the same person. But yeah, I'll get those upload those, and then I'll record Selected for Suffering. The first message, I see it right now. It's a lot, so it's looking like it's gonna be Selected for Suffering will be maybe 3 messages, 3 or 4. And then there's breakout messages, right? Sister messages that's related to it. So I call it like a case study, So I'm gonna go through suffering in 3 or 4 messages, right? And then I'll get into proving my point with case studies. And one of them is Job. It's so good. It's, oh man, it's like it's probably this probably will be my favorite too. I keep saying it's my favorite, but like Job, like after selected for suffering, the case study on messages or sister messages will be Job, and that might even be a two-part message. And then I'll get into Ruth, maybe Joseph, and then and then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, maybe. That might be another like case study. And then maybe Jesus. I don't know how that those break off messages, but pretty much what I'm saying is from here through the end of the year and even throughout next year, that's the plan. It's gonna be all suffering. But man, that the Job message, when we get into that and you hear some of the stuff that God was revealing to me, man, it's crazy. It's crazy good, and it will be all of it is to trust God, and it will be helpful in your life, and to make life that much better, right? Yeah, I'm excited about it. But yeah, man, like look, stay on the lookout, subscribe, and do all the things like follow, like, share. Definitely share it. Because I think this will help a lot of people. So if you feel like this, especially like if you feel like someone is suffering and you think they can use some encouragement and enlightenment, some hope, man, share these yeah, and I'm excited to I'm excited to get into it. So that's it. Yeah, that's all I had. Wait, I forgot to say this, because I think it's important. So the messages, of course, is free, right? Like I don't charge for, like, I don't think the gospel should be charged for. Everywhere we see the gospel preached in the Bible, the word of God preached, teached, or taught in the Bible, teached, I don't know why. Everywhere we see it taught in the Bible or communicated, it's free, right? Paul does make mention of taking care of leaders. That's I'm not going to get all into that, but no, yeah, what God is calling me to do is just to deliver, to communicate His word, to teach the word of God, and I would love to do that, and I do love to do that and offer that the same way it was offered in with biblical teachers, Paul, James, John, Jesus, the very best of us, right? And free. It's freely. And so yeah, you don't have to pay anything, just pay attention. I always say that you don't have to pay anything, just pay attention, because that means watch the content, watch the messages. If you're gonna watch it all the way through. The reason is because a lot of my good stuff I save for the end. Like the message might be good, but there's a punch at the end. There's a twist, or not a twist, but like there's a surprise ending, whatever. Sometimes, and not only that, but it does help. Like when you watch the messages all the way through, it helps the algorithm. It helps me on the algorithm because YouTube and other social media platforms, they see that the content is being watched, right? And watch hours, right? That matters. So that means that they'll circulate it more and it'll grow. So that's how it'll grow. I don't need it to God's provided for me. He is my provider and my provision. He's proven that recently. He's proven that over and over. So he's providing for the ministry. Paul worked with his hands. Paul was a tent maker. Jesus was the son of a carpenter, humanly speaking. His stepdad, he was, or his earthly father was a carpenter, which means he would have been trained as a carpenter too, or an apprentice to a carpenter. But yeah, I mean, Peter was a fisherman. Like people who God called had jobs. Like they could do something else besides deliver the gospel. And God is providing for me. I have a career. I don't need you to pay my bills. God provides, like I said, and even providing for the ministry. So the only thing I need, you don't pay any, you just pay me attention. But if not, and if God put it on your heart to give, now that's a whole nother thing. Don't quench the spirit. Like I'm not, But yeah, no. Pay attention. Watch the content if you do follow. If it's not relevant to you, or you feel like it's not relevant, then okay. But yeah, watch it, share it, definitely share it, and like and do all that stuff too. But most importantly, just watch and pay attention, um, and share. And yeah, the message they're like I don't, when I say I'm doing like multi-part messages, I don't communicate like other people do. I'm like, God has called me to be me, uniquely me. So I communicate differently. When I give a message, it's 20 to 30 minutes. Like, it's not long. And I know that the adult attention span is like probably 3 minutes, and it's probably like going down, like since I've like, it's probably going down as we speak. But yeah, no, like I don't make these big long hour-long messages. Though the way I communicate is, I pack a lot of punches, a lot of deep stuff into a small time frame, right? We can read messages in the Bible that Jesus gave. We can read them in like, what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and they're timeless jewels, right? Impactful, timeless. Paul was the same way. James the same way. You could read that whole book, in what, like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So I don't need a lot of time. That's not how I communicate. I say what I gotta say, and I'm out. So 20 to 30 minutes. It's not long. If you got to break it up, do that. Watch 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, whatever. But yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's all. And share it. Make sure you share it, and especially do this too. Like, no, like sharing it is cool. And I would appreciate that, but sharing specifically, like with people who God puts it on your heart that, oh, this person might need this. Like that is, you don't know how timely that could be for somebody. So like share, share the content. But if you feel like somebody like specifically needs, like somebody's put on your heart, if you watch something that I post, like even if it's a short or a clip or whatever, and if it impacts you and you feel like, and somebody's put on your mind, that you feel like, oh, they'll like this will resonate with them or have good impact with them, share it with them. And I love that. And I like my daddy used to say, I sure do appreciate you. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's it. You doing that is payment for what God has called me to do. Is if it impacts somebody, that if it resonates and impacts with something, with you, if it helps you, gives you hope, gives you peace, gives you joy, helps you understand God better, I've accomplished my goal. That's what I'm trying to do. And if I do that successfully, if that happens successfully, then that's the win, right? So that's what I'm doing it for. All right. Yeah. Now that's it. Right.